That's close. Close racing is the trademark of the NASCAR Craftsman SuperTruck Series. Put these caps in close quarters and watch the fight break out.
Ooh, man, please, tires, don't go flat while I'm on the outside of it.
Fight for the lead, fight for the title. In America's hottest news series, close finishes are the rule. And the guys who win the races have found themselves in one of the closest point battles anywhere in racing. Watch closely. This is going to get good. Tempted to get closer to your TV set? I'd say go for it. We're at Indianapolis Raceway Park for the action-packed trading cards 150, the NASCAR SuperTruck Series, coming here on a hot and humid August night. How hot is it? Well, there are the statistics. It is hot, it is humid, and it is a huge week for motorsports in Indiana. The Brickyard 400, of course, has everybody's attention. I'm Dave Despain. We're here live tonight for an exciting preliminary. You've already seen the Silver Crown cars from last night. Now we have the trucks tomorrow night, the Busch Grand National action, then the big finale, the Winston Cup cars at the Brickyard. How big a weekend is it? Will you look at the team of talent we have assembled for the truck race? We have the big guy himself, Benny Parsons, and Ned Jarrett. Both the guys are here tonight.
I'll tell you, when they bring the trucks to town and they're close by, I want to come and see them. Ben, he wasn't referring to you about being big. It's a big sport.
It is a big, big sport, and I'm a little bit large as well, but I tell you what, Ned, I've watched every truck race this year. I've been thoroughly entertained. You worked a couple races. They are fantastic.
Oh, they really are. I'm a pickup truck man myself, and I love to see these things run. And I had the privilege of working that close finish at the Colorado International Speedway between Butch Miller and Skinner, and we could see that kind of a run here tonight because these guys are pumped up to run on this track.
And we talk about big Bill France Jr.'s year, Gary Nelson's year. All the folks in NASCAR are here checking these trucks out.
Everybody who matters is here, including you watching it live on ESPN. And what we're watching is a terrific battle for the championship. A different point leader after each of the last 5 races. Check it out. Louisville, Mike Skinner wins the race and leads the points. But the next time out, Bristol, Skinner has a bad race. Miller takes over the lead with a 3rd place finish. Ruttman giving Ford their first win of the year. Milwaukee, Skinner wins the race, but Ruttman with 6th place takes over the point lead. We move on to Colorado, the photo finish. Miller wins the closest race yet, but Skinner was 2nd, gets the point lead. And last weekend, first time ever on a road course, Hornaday wins it, but he's still 4th in the points. Check it out, just 38 points from 1st to 4th, and the point leader of the week, Joe Ruttman, is standing by with our pit reporter, Marty Reed.
You guys mentioned how important this race is. Give you an idea, the man who's atop the points right now, Joe Ruttman, gave up practice and qualifying at the Brickyard today. And Joe, I got to ask you, that's a bit of a gamble on both parts.
Well, Marty, that's true, but the trucks are very, very important to me, and it was a shame that the confliction with the scheduling of practice and qualifying, that there was no way we could get it done. But this is my primary focus right now, is the trucks. It might not look like it's starting back this far, but it's very, very important that we finish well in all these races and get as much test time in as we possibly can.
Well, he mentioned where he's starting. He is going to be 11th on this starting grid, guys, so he does have a bit of a ways to go to the front.
Thank you, Marty. We'll hear a lot from him, especially during the break. It's 150 laps here tonight, and they stop in the middle for a 5-minute recess. Here's your race analysis. The track, everybody refers to it pretty much as a 5/8 oval, 150 laps distance. The pole to Skinner, again, his 9th of the year. The pit stop will come at lap 76. How about that purse? $165,000 on the line here tonight, and about 20,000 people on hand to cheer them on. The Budweiser blimp overhead to bring you the pictures. Indianapolis Raceway Park looks pretty this time of year. The engines have fired. We're going to jump right into this thing and go racing for you on a Thursday night live from Indianapolis Raceway Park. It's our home for Thursday Thunder, but it is a much different show here this evening as the NASCAR Craftsman SuperTrucks prepare to go to work. There's Skinner down on that pole position that is very, very familiar to him. He kind of owns the poles, Benny.
And we look at that truck on the outside. Unfamiliar to you folks that have been following the trucks. That is Johnny Benson. Of course, we'll get to the starting grid in just a moment, but Benson great run on the outside pole.
His third attempt at Super Truck racing, so that is impressive indeed. The mix is 18 Chevys, 13 Fords, and 3 Dodges. Skinner starts from the pole looking for his 6th win. There's Benson alongside in the Chevrolet.
And in row 2, we find Ron Hornaday Jr. He's won 4 of those in the Teresa Earnhardt Papa John's Pizza Chevrolet, and the P.J. Jones starting on the outside of the second row of the Die Hard truck.
Easy for you to say, Ned. There's Dennis Setzer in the Dodge and Jeff Bodine, the Exide battery Ford, on the outside of row 3.
Row 3 has Gary Santamon, and that's pretty impressive. He's all beat up after that crash in the ASA race out at Topeka, and Swindell, the World of Outlaw star, alongside.
And in row 5, we find Rodney Combs making his 2nd start in the Super Truck Series, and alongside of him is Steve Portingate.
Row 6, there's Joe Ruttman, the point leader, and Bill Sedgwick.
We go on board with P.J. Jones, and he'll have one of our 2 onboard cameras here this evening as we see Roger Mears inside row 7, and Mike Bliss, who's won more races on this track than any other driver.
And in row 8, we find Tim Nooner. He runs on occasions in this truck series, and Scott Lagasse, who has been running the entire series in one of the Rick Hendrick trucks.
And back in row 9, Michael Dockin and Carlos Serrano.
And Walker Evans is going to lead the next row from the inside. He, of course, is a legend in off-road competition in the Dodge. Jack Sprague out of North Carolina with a Chevy.
Row 11, we find Butch Miller. He's won one of these things this year. And Rick Corelli, who's looking for his first win.
Yeah, back in row 12, T.J. Clark and Joe Nemechek's little brother, John Nemechek.
An emerging star from the Pacific Northwest, Toby Butler in the Ford. John Kinder is alongside out of Santa Ana, California.
And in row 14, we have Steve Darn and Bob Straight.
Row 15, the coach, Jerry Glanville, and Bob Brevac running number 4 tonight. Truck similar, same as it's always been, except number 4.
Kenny Allen coming out of Shelby, North Carolina, starts alongside Ray Daniels, his first start in the Pep Boys Chevy.
And the final row, row 17, we find Bob Keselowski. Bob had some problems in qualifying here today, got into the fence, but they got the car fixed up, and Andy Brass.
Johnny Benson is going to be carrying our second onboard camera, your pole sitter. Skinner with a very impressive season thus far. His statistics, 9 poles, or check that, 8 poles and 5 victories, more than any other driver in each category. You might think he's running away with the championship, but that is certainly not the case with 4 drivers in a 38-point span at the top of the heap. Guys, that is a terrific championship battle.
And it could tighten up, well, it's hard to imagine it could tighten up much more here tonight, but those points are very, very important.
There's Butch Miller, the 98, the Rebestos truck, another guy that usually runs very, very well in the trucks, and he told me the 2 worst laps he had here today was his qualifying laps.
Yeah, he'll come through the field for sure. Look at that average finish, 5.5. Seems like he's always third in these deals when he doesn't have trouble. And he's won on this racetrack before. He won the Busch Grand National race back here. I think it was 86, if memory serves.
Certainly knows his way around, and I think a track that handling counts so much, Butch Miller is good on it, and certainly that is a key factor getting around this racetrack.
Out the back of P.J. Jones' truck as we get through what may be the last warm-up lap here. I can't see that far, Benny. The pace lights, pace truck lights are on or off. We're getting ready to go here, aren't we?
We're going racing in just about a half lap. The Die Hard truck weaving back and forth, getting ready.
Lots of folks in the grandstands. We're tickled to death that you are tuned in, and what an incredible racing week it is in Indianapolis, Indiana. And if past history is any indication, this show right here may be the most spectacular of the bunch. The green flag awaits. Alan Porter looks him over as Skinner sets him up on the bottom. Wonder if that's going to be better than on the top. Benson gets to the gas quickly, gets a little sideways, and we're underway. Wow, right over the tread cam. I love it. And listen to him.
And Skinner, even though he was on the inside, sometimes that's not the preferred spot here at Raceway Park, but he was able to take the lead in 40 truck.
Trouble immediately for the number 40 truck. Carlos Serrano touched the wall on the first lap. Apparently not a whole lot of damage as Skinner leads him into lap 2. Hornaday has taken over the second spot. Ron Hornaday coming off the win on the road course. Moving up to challenge his nemesis. There's PJ in 4th. Jeff Bodine hot on his wheels.
Well, PJ, I saw his dad Parnelli down in the pits here him on. Told told me that Page was just doing wonderful, so that was good news.
There we see PJ looking back at Jeff Bodine. And I think that's Dennis Setzer in the Dodge truck behind Bodine.
Single file for the moment. Let's talk about the passing opportunities, guys. You've seen a lot of Busch Grand National races here. What's the best way to get it done?
Not an easy track to pass at all.
It's not an easy track, but I think the fast cars are going to run a little bit high, so you're going to have to try to get underneath them.
And right here is a spot that we've seen a lot of passing, Dave, as we see Dennis Setzer trying to get on the inside of Jeff Bodine. If you get a good run off of turn 2, then you might be able to get up the side of him and just outbreak him going into number 3.
Not a whole lot different deal than you see in the open wheel cars. There's Roger Mears, who rushed the wall pretty good in practice. They got that truck back in ship shape, and he's out there trying to pick up a spot. Mears best known for his off-road competition. A lot of the guys from the off-road world have come over to the SuperTruck Series. In fact, these drivers have come from every imaginable racing discipline. And there's Miller trying to make a move on Mears. Let's see if it'll work as he goes down to the inside, tries to get the nose alongside, but they hit turn 3. He just runs out of racetrack.
Just could not get that grip coming off the corner. He needed to get alongside. He's trying it once again, and again it fails.
That boy can make the bottom work, though, just about any racetrack he goes to, can he?
If it can work, if a truck or a vehicle of any sort works on the bottom, Butch Miller can make it work. There he is with that nose under there. The top 10 trucks have pulled away from the 11th place truck, which is currently the Mike Bliss truck. Yeah.
Clint Bliss was catching up to do, didn't qualify very well. The 4th truck in that line you're watching is the High Plains drifter Rick Corelli, and he's been trying to make a move. Miller seems for the moment to have dropped back a spot. Now here he comes up alongside, and he's got the pass, and that's how you make it work. Just like Ned Jones said, that's why they call these guys expert analysts. And meanwhile, there goes Corelli. He got that spot as well. So time to start making your moves. 150 laps with a break in the middle. There's not a lot of strategy in this deal. You pretty well got to get the pedal down, don't you, boys?
There we see Joe's little brother, John Nemechek, in the silver truck, the Delco truck this weekend. Bill Sedgwick, and Sedgwick is losing spots.
And I'm sure their spotters are telling you, hey, that front group of trucks are taking off. They're already about a half a lap ahead of you, so you need to go. And I'm sure that's one reason Butch Middle there. He goes on the outside, making a good pass on the outside of Sedgwick because his truck is apparently not working too good.
No, something's wrong with Sedgwick's truck, and I'm not sure exactly what it is.
That side-by-side battle continues between Sedgwick and Miller, and now Miller's going to tuck in behind as they work their way into the traffic. In fact, Sedgwick's dropped off pretty dramatically. This is where the action has been thus far, as up front it's been a Mike Skinner showcase. He's got about a 5-6 truck lead as they come across start-finish with Hornaday, his nemesis, hot on his rear deck. We'll take a quick break and come back with more. We're live from Indianapolis Raceway Park. Speed World coverage of the NASCAR SuperTrucks is brought to you by Chevrolet. Chevrolet is proud to be the official truck of the NASCAR SuperTruck Series. And by Champion Truck Plug, built specifically for pickup, sport, utilities, and vans. And by the NASCAR Story. To order, call 800-71-NASCAR. Working lap 15 of 150 and a lot of smoke here. We're under yellow. Bill Sedgwick has stopped under yellow. That car was smoking before the yellow came out, but in reality the caution is for John Kinder, who went up in a big puff of smoke. And that happened right along the front straightaway, brought out the yellow flag. Marty Reed perhaps has more on the problem with number 75.
Well, guys, you can see them thrashing at the back end of the car. They are changing the fuel filter. In fact, I've got the old one right here in my hand, and it looks to be okay, but it's not doing the job. The motor was cutting in and out. They think this is the problem. If this isn't it, it could be electrical, and it could be very serious.
Neither of those, though, would cause the truck to smoke.
Exactly, and the truck was, in fact, smoking before we went in the pits.
Perhaps we have not heard all of that story. Anyway, we're under yellow. Working lap 16. Skinner has led it from the get-go and has now, in fact, led the most laps. In 1995, he was 4 down to Hornaday in that category at the start of the race, 662 to 658, but Skinner led them all here thus far. That's Johnny Benson Jr., Getting a little truck action under his belt here tonight. His third start of the series, or fourth start of the series. We'll take a quick break and be right back. Parity in the NASCAR SuperTruck Series by Craftsman. Yes, indeed. 3 trucks have dropped out. All 3 brands represented. Kinder in the Ford is out, Sedgwick in the Chevy is out, and Keselowski, Bob Keselowski, has pulled his Dodge off.
He has been substituted. There's a substitute driver in that truck. Frank Kimmel from down in Louisville has jumped in the truck to drive.
Take it all back. The Dodge is still out there running. The Bud blimp, Bud 1, traveling all across the country, stopping at sporting events hither, thither, and yon. None more exciting than the one we're watching right here as we go back to the green flag. Working lap 18. Hornaday's going to take a shot at Skinner.
Well, he tried it on the outside, but Skinner closed that gap up in a hurry.
He gnawed on that back bumper of that truck at that time.
He let him know he was there. These guys certainly know all about each other. Skinner having won 5 times and Hornaday 4. If there is a driver-to-driver rivalry in the series, that one's as good as it gets. And this is the look out the back of Benson's truck as he looks at our other onboard truck, B.J. Jones. BJ's about to get challenged as they hit the front cam.
Yeah.
Ooh, there's some smoke.
Jeff put out, big
Sammy Swindell looks like has lost an engine down in the first and second corner. He is high on the racetrack. The truck's going by. And so far, everyone has made it by, and no one has spun, so maybe this will not bring out the caution flag.
The entrance to the pits is right there, and he can't get to it because of the traffic. And we may go yellow. Is he going to make it? Yeah, he says, I'll just cut across the grass. I don't want to this thing. Nice driving as they say to get out of the way and allow us to stay under green. Now let's see if Bodine has something for PJ here. We look out the back.
He's been working on him.
I guess.
And he still is.
Got 2 battery companies there, so naturally Jeff wants to get in front of that diehard with the X side.
Taps him a little bit there between turns 1 and 2.
Tapping the tailgate, I guess you call that truck racing, don't you?
Right.
BJ's got some experience of track time here at Indianapolis Raceway Park. Remember the Silver Crown race a year ago this week? He and Bliss had at it big time. Bliss beating by a couple of car lengths.
That red number 30 is Dennis Setzer. That's a Dodge Ram truck.
Now, when you're Bodine, do you race the guy in front of you, or do you race with your mirrors and try to keep Setzer back there?
Got to do a little bit of both in that situation. He's more concerned about the man in front of him.
Yeah, exactly. And I think right now he's racing P.J. Jones, and Setzer will just have to land wherever he can.
Bodine likes this truck deal for a lot of reasons. He likes being an owner, he likes being a driver, and he also sees this as an opportunity to kind of bring his kids along in the racing game.
Says that when I might drive some later in the year.
See Sammy Swindell jumped out of his truck and taking his helmet off. That's a bad sign when they take that hat off.
Now, that's a doggone good race driver who has had way more than his share of bad luck in this series. Those guys have really struggled this year. Best battle on the racetrack continues to be that PJ versus Bodine thing, but behind them we've got Mike Bliss making some noise. This is the race for 9th and 10th, and Bliss in that number 2 truck is hooked up in a little scuffle here with Portgay in the 83. Behind him comes the number 24 of the road racer, Legacy, and Ruttman trying to find a way through that gaggle of trucks and get to the front, knowing that his point lead hangs in the balance.
Right in the back of that pack is Butch Miller. And of course, the truck number 31 there is Jack Craig.
And probably the significant factor in that group of trucks would be that Miller has caught them from a fair distance back. So Miller now up into 13th from 15th, has picked up some positions and appears to be cutting some pretty decent lap times.
And he tries to get under Sprague. I saw Butch down in the garage area just before the start of the race, and I said, how did you mess up qualifying so bad again?
He said, always ask the right question.
He said, that was the 2 worst laps I've run since I've been here with my qualifying laps. He said, I don't understand it. We talked about it a little bit. He just all of a sudden cannot qualify well.
Let's get more on that Swindell story. Marty Reed.
Yeah, we're down here with Sammy, and, you know, for having to go through all day sweating in this heat to go out this quickly, what put you out? Well, we lost. I think we broke a valve and it went to a piston. What about track conditions out there? Everybody was talking about how treacherous turn 1 was earlier in the day. Well, I think they got that fixed, but there's just a lot of stuff
built up out around the outside, so everybody's being pretty careful and staying down out of it right now. And, we had a pretty competitive truck. The tail lock truck was running good. I was just taking my time and was able to run right on those guys. Motor doesn't down.
Sammy Swindell, a man of few words, manages a smile, but I think it was a forced smile there. He had to be a little frustrated to see that thing turn out the way it did here tonight. He's 13th in the points, and I guess that 13 for bad luck is, again, representative of their season so far.
Look at Benson trying to get on the outside of Hornaday. Now he looks on the inside. And I tell you what, it looks to me like that Benson, P.J. Jones, Bodine, and also Setzer right now are the fastest trucks on the racetrack. They could run away from the 16 if they could just get in front of him.
I agree with you, Peter. Johnny Benson certainly knows his way around this racetrack. Had the Busch race, the Over 201 a year ago, had a flat tire with just a few laps to go. That would have been his first win in Busch competition.
Look at that. P.J. dives out to try to get on the inside of Benson. And meanwhile, Bodine is diving out trying to get down him, and Setzer trying to go on the outside. Now he's trying on the inside.
That's Jerry Glanville that they have just lapped. And if, in fact, Hornaday is holding up this pack a little bit, it's a nice opportunity for Skinner, who'd love to just check out on him. Remember, we'll take a break at lap 76 for 5 minutes for pit work.
But Skinner's not driving away from this pack either.
He had driven away for a little bit, but now they're closing back in on him. Whether he's just taking it easy, trying to save his tires, or if Hornaday is feeling that pressure back there and stepping the pace up a little bit.
What about the tire situation, guys, on a 5/8 mile oval like this with a little bit of bank, but not a whole lot? Do you have to save them, or can you get out there and burn them up?
I think right now they can use them up because they'll be able to stop it halfway and change again, so they'll be able to tell when the tires are going away. If they run hard right now, they can tell if they get 30 laps or 40. Here it goes Jeff, once again, trying to get on the inside.
He's got that left rear quarter panel on PJ's thing pretty well memorized. He's had a pretty good look at it through the whole race.
Hey, on the outside, Benson has got Hornaday. He takes the second spot away.
Great pass, a gutsy pass, and a great one.
You go to the outside, you hold your breath. As I heard Parsons say in the tease, I hope those tires don't let go now. They didn't. Benson actually got up on the outside of him and outran him down the straightaway. Johnny Benson Jr. is a kid with a great future. There's a lot of talk about his Winston Cup career. He just missed that lap truck there, but a lot of talk about where he'll end up next year.
And there's a lot of speculation that he might be in Winston Cup next year. He said a week or so ago that no, he thought he'd stay where he was and maybe run some Winston Cup out of that shop with the Bumgardner organization. FPT, of course, is sponsoring his Busch series, but don't be surprised if I know a lot of Winston Cup drivers are interested in him.
And the longer he stays out, exactly. And the longer he stays out, the more his value is going to go up. It's one of those hot properties. Skinner's in traffic.
He's in traffic, and here comes Benson closing up right on the back bumper of that Goodrich Chevrolet.
The black 3, the colors of the Intimidator. I don't sense that Benson is intimidated a bit. He's taking a look on the outside of Skinner just as he did on Hornaday. Lap truck in front of him.
That's Bob Reed back in car 4. He told me his wife, Shelly, won 2 races last week. I should be putting you out of this truck here pretty soon. She'll be driving it.
All right, Skinner's got wide open space in front of him for a little while, and Benson goes to work on him. He's looked inside, he's looked outside. He made the pass on Hornaday and made it spectacularly on the outside. Johnny Benson. I told you they get close. In your face. Truck racing on ESPN. Yahoo.
And look at their Setzer on the inside of P.J. Jones. Can he make it work? No, he can't.
I tell you what, it is a traffic jam, and I thought I saw smoke off of Miller's truck. Is that him going backwards on the backstretch?
No, that's the 20 truck.
No, that's 20, yeah, okay. Here they come, out of 4, up the front straightaway. This is good stuff.
And we see that Jeff Bodine has been able to get by P.J. Jones. Now he's got his sights set on the 16 of Hornaday. And here he goes on the inside, trying to get on the inside.
Setzer took a look at the inside of P.J. Couldn't find the room, elected to duck back in line. The charge is on. You guys called it. They got tired of waiting for Hornaday, pushed the button, went to work. Benson was the first to start it. He's up there working on Skinner. And this is the race from third back.
As we look back, we see that Rodney Combs and Mike Bliss has joined this fight.
We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back with more. It's live from Indianapolis Raceway Park. Skinner leads it from Benson. Exciting stuff. 1,000 feet over Indianapolis Raceway Park. The eye in the sky aboard the Bud blimp follows the leader. The Goodwrench black and white colors. Mike Skinner, having led this thing from the start, is in traffic once again, and you're watching him from Johnny Benson's truck. Benson trying to find a fast way around the leader and through the traffic, but he's hung up for the moment.
There we see T.J. Clark on the outside of the leader. That's the 23 truck. The leader, Mike Skinner, in the number 3. Here comes the second place, and some smoke. There's smoke out of the back of Benson's truck.
That is not a promising sign, and now Benson gets into a race there, and as we go on board with BJ, he's still dealing with Bodine. Bodine in front of him now and chasing down Hornaday. Here's the Dodge of Setzer. He runs 6th.
Oh, we got a spin.
Number 26, around goes Andy Brass, the driver of the Bigfoot, and the 87 is also looped. That's Nemechek. So we'll have yellow for that for sure on the 48th of the 76 laps that will make up the first half here.
Well, there he gets off the racetrack, does Brass. You know, this is the first oval track race this fella has ever raced in.
He ran 48 laps to stay out of trouble. That's pretty good.
That's pretty good. He's the Bigfoot driver. You know that big truck that crushes cars and all that other stuff? That's what he does.
I'd have left those tires on from Bigfoot to run this race. I think they'd have hooked up great. I'm worried about that Benson smoke, though. That could change the complexion of this deal pretty dramatically. All right, we're under yellow for the second time this evening with Skinner showing the way. We'll take a break and come back where you look at the people at Indianapolis Raceway Park.
Well, we're back at the action-packed 150, and Ernie Irvin, got to ask you, your man Joe Ruttman, the points leader, but he seems to still be about where he started, 11th place.
Well, we're having a little trouble with handling right now, but just keep buying our time, and we're running somewhat the same speed as the leaders, so we'll work on it at the halftime.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like he's going to be in any danger of going a lap down before we get to the break.
No, there's no doubt. You know, I mean, we're basically running the same speed as the leaders, or not the same speed as them two that are running out in front of everybody, but you know, somewhat the same.
Well, we could throw an anchor on those first two. That would work.
Yeah, well, whatever it takes. I don't care.
A lot of people pulling for Ernie Irvin, and as he tries to battle his way back into competition, he'll go in for a checkup next week, and about a week later we'll get the word about a possible return to competition. The Yates team working out a plan to perhaps get him in a Winston Cup car toward the end of the season. He's an owner here tonight for the series leader. The green is out. Alan Porter drops the rag, and away we go. Let's watch Benson and see if that truck's up to speed. He didn't get much of a jump there.
No, he didn't. In fact, Mike Skinner got a good jump on him. But looks like he came off a turn, too, very good, Johnny Benson did. So maybe there's nothing wrong. I thought that last lap that he maybe didn't have the straightaway speed, but evidently he still does have, because he's getting pulled away a little bit now from Hornaday.
Hornaday, the red truck, is 3rd. 4th is Bodine. 5th is PJ. And then comes the lap truck of Beer. 6th in line. Trouble.
31 car got in the wall. That's Jack Sprague. We see that he has knocked the rear sway bar off the truck, and with something's dragging the racetrack. We see the right front is dragging, sparks flying, and here comes the caution flag waving.
Well, that green didn't last long, did it? Trouble for Jack Sprague, a regular in this series, and again has had his fair share of tough luck. So we'll assume that perhaps Benson's truck is healthy. Sprague, for the record, is 6th in the series standings. And when you're 6th and trying to crack that top 5, a moment like this is indeed distressing. You see the damage.
Let's see if we can find out what happened to Sprague. Looks like he made some contact with T.J. Clark and got him aimed towards the wall. But didn't I see some sparks in that truck before he went in the corner?
I think so too,
maybe before he got there.
I saw some sparks off some truck before he got there, before he made contact.
It did look like his.
They sure had a hunk of Clark when they went off into the corner. Should see some damage on the left side of TJ's machine, as he had just scrambled around to get into line down among the lap trucks, and he's going to have to pit for some work on number 23. TJ Clark out of Chandler, Arizona. Man, he beat up the right front of that thing.
And this flat tire is not helping the situation any either. Okay.
Well, now I wonder
Wonder what? Well, maybe the right front tire was flat. And he just couldn't steer it.
He didn't have a whole lot of steering to work with there.
Right. We'll give him the benefit of the doubt.
We'll assume that there was nothing controversial whatsoever about that, and he didn't go up there and take a shot at TJ, and we don't have anything from the replay that tells us otherwise. We do know they're going to need big hammers.
Real big hammers.
Marty Reed.
Yeah, the right front corner has really been in there, and this is going to be very costly to Jack and the team. It looks as though it might be repairable, though, from here. I don't know if you got a chance to see it, but guess who is holding the signboard for him to show him where to stop? The hat man of Winston Cup Racing, Bill Broderick. and believe it or not, Bill did not try and put a hat on Jack.
I didn't realize he knew which end of the stick to hold. And we see that NASCAR holding.
Sprague had a pretty good. Sorry, Benny. Sprague had a pretty good streak going there. 6 straight top 10 finishes coming in, and no such luck here tonight. We'll take a break. Come back with more from Indianapolis Raceway Park. We have just gone back to green in the action-packed 150 at Indianapolis Raceway Park. You ride in the second-place truck of Johnny Benson Jr. as he tries to find a way around the race-long leader, Mike Skinner. Bill Sedgwick fans should know that Bill has come back into the race, although he's 40-some-odd laps down. What's it going to take to get around that guy?
Man, I don't know, but there's about 4 of them right behind trying their best to get by each other so they can get into that 3 truck with Skinner's.
Now let's get a look at it. There's Hornaday in 3rd, Bodine sitting there in 4th. PJ's been 5th pretty much since Bodine passed him to take over that 4th spot that he had in qualifying. And those 5 are trying to get away from the rest of this pack. Benson's truck looks like it's working pretty well. The hands on the steering wheel are always the clue, aren't they, guys?
Now we're going in turn 3. Well, how smooth is that, man?
That is smooth. That truck is working. Has a good chassis under him here tonight. Doesn't have to fight that wheel too much.
That smoke we saw earlier has not developed into a problem. We've not seen much of it since. There's still a little there, though.
Hey, P.J. Jones, something is wrong with the diehard truck. He's slow coming off the corner. He moves down to the inside, and all the trucks go by.
Man, I tell you, they were making some funny noises.
Sounds like an ignition problem on that truck.
Oh, it's a tough break. He had one of his better runs of the year going here tonight.
PJ, a hot property in motorsports. A lot of people think he'll have the IndyCar career coming, of course, but he's opted for this SuperTruck deal and came in with high hopes and the perfect number, but fortune has not backed him up here. He's had more than his share. I guess crashes, many of them not his fault, have been his biggest difficulty, but tonight it's mechanical, perhaps electrical, and he has dropped from 5th spot. That's going to move the Dodge of Sprague up one position. 3 DNFs in the last 4 races for the number 1 truck of P.J. Jones.
There we see the first 5 trucks. Skinner. Now we're back to the 6th place truck of Rodney Combs. That's the 43. And Mike Bliss in the 2 truck.
Bliss has moved up nicely from his qualifying position, and he's done it with patience. Made a lot of fuss about all his experience on this racetrack. 9 victories here in the open wheel competition with the sprints and the midgets and the Silver Crown cars. He knows the way around, and he's working on Combs. Currently running in 7th spots. That's 6th and 7th, the battle that we're following. The passing line is a whole lot different in a big, wide, heavy truck than it is in one of those nimble little open wheel cars. You don't see a lot of slide jobs in the trucks.
We saw Sedgwick on the inside. Just a moment ago, looks like that fuel filter did not fix his problem.
Andy Brass down to the inside. Moving by on the outside is Mears after his crash in practice. Bliss continues to try to find a way around. Here's a young man committed to a career with NASCAR. He's alongside Combs. He gonna make it stick this time. He got up alongside the fender. Now,
Didn't quite good. Boy, thought he had him there. Rodney drives her deep on into turn 3. And Mike's got to try it again. He'll try to set him up. He'll try that same move again. Hope he can get just a little bit farther up as he start off the turn. And whoop, there's a lot of smoke coming out of the Benson truck as he slid high there. I don't think that's tire smoke, guys.
Very nice.
But it's not affecting the performance of the truck. Look at, he's gaining on the Mike Skinner right now, trying to go by him.
The Smoke hasn't hurt him a bit. He looks down to the inside. It's not there. I believe that Marty can tell us what's up with PJ. Marty will tell us that in a moment. We'll stay with the battle for the lead. Skinner
well, guys, down here with PJ, and it looks like the truck just literally quit on you. What happened?
Best truck we had all year long. It was going great. I was fast. I was faster than Bodine and the guys in front of me, but I was being patient. This is what I get. So, it's a tough day for diehard #1 crew. They tried hard, but Brad Rogers is working us.
This has not been the kind of season that you wanted in this thing. Are you making any changes here soon?
You know, I don't know how you change it up. You know, and that's really what's been happening. The guys gave me a great car. I mean, we were right there. We were fast. I was being easy in traffic and doing everything I should be doing.
PJ Jones out of this one.
Makes it hard for me to remember to call them trucks when the drivers call them cars. Benson got alongside Skinner. He made a whale of a run at him.
Boy, he did make a great run at him. Was not able to get by. And now Skinner looks like he's pulled away by, well, obviously he's pulled away by a couple of car lengths.
But look how quickly Benson is able to close that gap. Once Skinner moved away right after he made that pass, or tried to make that pass, he was 4 or 5 truck lengths, but look how quickly he's moved back there on him. So it looks like he does have a little faster truck, Benson, but hasn't found a way around yet.
I wonder if that smoking problem could be overheating. And he's backing up to get a little air through the grill.
Certainly one possibility. 8th, 9th, and 10th.
Gary Santamon in the 77, the yellow and red truck, being pressured by Steve Portingate. Look at the mob of trucks there, Ned. Man, oh man.
There's Toby Butler in truck number 21. Butch Miller right there at the tail end of that group. They are doing some great racing here.
Portingate, that black truck's had a pretty impressive season, or had some pretty impressive runs within the season. Hasn't found the consistency he's looking for. I'm amazed to see Santamon as he runs up on the outside. I'm amazed to see. Oh, Bliss.
Bliss. He in the 30 truck of Setzer makes contact down in the corner. He's sitting there, and so far, everyone has missed him.
Look out, boys. Got one going backwards up there. Doesn't look like he hurt it bad. He got the wall at least once and maybe twice, but it still looks pretty straight. I think he was ready to try for the pass when things went wrong. He had worked his way into 5th place, had come from 14th, so it was everything we expected of Mike Bliss here tonight and more, but it was a little too much too early, perhaps.
Uh-oh, we got some sheet metal hanging on that Dodge. The hood or the right front fender or something, and oh man, it's pretty heavy damage to that truck.
Yes, it is.
He must have gotten together with Bliss, right? Because
yes,
they would have been racing for that spot, and the right front is beat up on the number 30 truck. Dennis Setzer, let's see if we can figure out how it happened.
Oh, I see he run. Bliss was trying to go by Jeff Bodine, and they made contact. He spun, and the 30 truck Setzer was just an innocent victim.
Yes. Bliss spun right directly in front of him.
But Bliss had already put Setzer away and was working on Bodine when the damage occurred for Setzer. Very impressive run. 14th to 5th on this racetrack, and that number of laps, pretty good run.
Yep.
Doesn't count for much when you stick it in the wall at the end of that run, though.
Okay, guys, they're going to the break. We're only a few laps away from the planned break, but since we're so close to it, they will go to the break now.
Big break for Bliss and Setzer.
Yeah.
They'll get the opportunity to fix it. We'll come back for recess right after this timeout. Indianapolis Raceway Park with the NASCAR SuperTrucks by Craftsman. Very exciting. Wait till tomorrow night when we come on back and do this all over again. Mike Wallace won it a year ago. Where are you going to see it? ESPN, of course. Kroger 200. Little and Benson battling for the championship. Little won last weekend, got the point lead. Johnny Benson doing double duty here tonight and again tomorrow night. ESPN is all over this big weekend. The break is here. It's recess time, but it's not going to be any relaxation for Dennis Setzer's crew. They have gone to work in a hurry.
Of course, he got into Mike Bliss when Bliss spun around.
Here's the routine service on the leader. Skinner's led every lap. Let's go to Marty. He's with the leader.
Yeah, we're down here in Mike Skinner's pit. Let get the guys through here. He's already doing his debrief. They're trying to do everything. Remember, we're only doing 5 minutes here. Mike, so far, truck, everything running really strong.
Yeah, the GM Goodwrench service truck's running pretty darn good right now. We're trying to figure out what to do at halftime here. We realize that those guys are going to work on theirs and probably get them a little bit better. And we're afraid to touch it and afraid not to. We'll just have to see what we decide here. We're going to get the tire engineer to look at these Goodyear tires here and see what we can do with it.
What about the time when Johnny Benson almost got by you?
Well, you know, he just didn't have quite enough room there, and I don't think Johnny got into us on purpose there. He just trying to win. He's trying to do the same thing we are.
Is this going to turn into a two-line track, or is this going to be the matter of the bravest winning the corner?
I'll tell you in about 75 laps.
You know what that means, guys? That means it's going to be survival of the bravest. Come on, let's go this way. We're going to go back to bypass Butch Miller and go to Ron Hornaday because he's in third place. And this is when you get your track duty pay. See if Ron's, well, we got the radio guys in here, but they're just finishing up, so I think we'll be all right. Ron running in third right now. As far as the truck, you got anything left for Skinner?
I'm not going to say last time I said it, I didn't work, so this Papa John Chevrolet's running great, but a little tight the first half. If we can loosen it up, we'd be pretty good. They're getting me from the middle off, and got to thank Del Teresa, Snap-on, everybody.
Well, I know it doesn't feel it, but it is getting a little cooler out here. Can you go too far, though, if you loosen?
Well, I can't feel it in here, but if it is, it'll be better for us, and with the change we're going to make right now should help us.
All right, good luck. That's it from here in pit lane, guys. The Waction is still going fast and furious.
We're afraid to touch it, and we're afraid not to. I like that line. There's Bliss, who brought out the yellow just before the break. And that truck does not appear to be too badly damaged.
But the damage is on the left side, don't you remember? Are you also blind? Remember he was sitting down there and hit him on the left side, Dave?
You're right. I am blind. And I'm forgetful. What am I going to do when I get old like you? There's Bodine. This guy's been tough. That's a good truck. We've talked a lot about Benson, but that thing's been coming forward all night long.
Really good truck.
I think he might be one of the fastest out there, yes.
Marty.
Well, Steve, I got to ask you, Mike, I'm sorry, I'm doing my track sisters here. Are you guys going to be able to get this fixed and get back out there?
Yeah, I think it's just all body work. I don't think I didn't hit anything real hard. We just got together down there and won, and I just had to hit the brakes because Jeff came across, and
you and I went out to turn one earlier today and took a look at it. What's it like now?
I think the outside came in all of a sudden. Off of two, I can really get off of too high. It feels pretty good out there. The track's not coming up, and I think everybody will get this straightened out. The second half will be a better race.
Mike Bliss, he's ready to go, but the guys are still slamming on the sheet metal.
You can hear that hammer work, can't you?
You can hear that hammer work going on.
But the problem is Mike Bliss is going to find there are 19 trucks in the lead lap, and he's going to find himself back there in 19th position. He has already made a great move up towards the front, but I'll tell you, it's going to be tough in this second half to repeat what he did in the first half.
He had come from 14th to 5th. He better hope that high groove is better in the second half because he's going to need to pass more trucks than he did in the first half to get there. Benny.
I tell you what, if any of the folks were listening to scanning our telecast, they would have found out from Mike Bliss that the groove is working up high. There's probably not many of these truck drivers that know that. Only he, with all this IRP experience, would try that.
He's not afraid to get her up there by the wall and got away from him that time. We're going to take a break and come back with the last couple of minutes of the break at IRP. The aerial ambassador from Anheuser-Busch joins us this evening. I love the people who write stuff like this. That's the Bud 1 airship, providing us a very nice view of Indianapolis Raceway Park on a lovely, if somewhat warm, Thursday evening. And as Benny Parsons and Ned Jarrett enjoy their ice cream here in the booth, I'm Dave Despain, happy to be alongside them. Have the privilege of joining them for the excitement of the SuperTruck race, all part of this huge week in Indianapolis. I'm going to come back out here tomorrow night to host Speed Week. Bob Jenkins will be busy over at the big track with Benny. I mean, we're all over this thing. Speed Week will be at 8:30 tomorrow evening. Live, that's Eastern time, of course, 7:30 here. We got to get out of the way for the Busch Grand National race, which will be coming up at 8 o'clock. Exciting Super Trucks premiering at Indy.
That's
very
wonderful.
Clever
That
indeed.
is clever.
And the celebrities are all here, too, and one of them is standing by with Marty Reed. Marty?
Actually, guys, I've got the guy that Benny Parsons used to spot for, Robbie Gordon. First off, I got to ask you, coming off the race where you weren't allowed to race at the crash from Michigan, how are you feeling when you're going to get back in the race car?
Well, I was ready to be back in on Saturday, but they wouldn't let me. If you have an accident, they don't allow you to race again. We're going to be back in Mid-Ohio. We're going to test on Monday and Tuesday and Wednesday at Putnam, and then go to Mid-Ohio and try to win there.
Now, I know you're out here looking. Any chance of you driving one of these in the future?
Jimmy asked me if I wanted to drive one of the ultra-wheel trucks this weekend, so I went up to Valvoline, and they said, nah, we're third in the points still. Let's concentrate on that. So as long as my IndyCar career is going, I don't think so.
Now, wait a minute. They let you drive in the Desert Series in the middle of nowhere where if you have a breakdown, a rattlesnake could eat you alive, but they won't let you drive here?
Well, they figure that's probably a little safer. I'm the only maniac out there by myself. We race against the time there. And here, you got 20 guys around you. It's a lot of fun, but they just don't want to have any part of it.
Well, it's time for us to go racing again. Good seeing you.
All right, take care. Hi, Benny.
Hey, Robbie.
What do you think? Did you know back then he was going to make a race car driver?
Yes. I was a spotter for him in the Daytona 500 when he drove Judy Donlevy's car. And I tell you what, Richard Petty and some guys got together off turn 2 and spun, and Robbie spun to dodge him. I do believe he might have been able to win the Daytona 500 his first time. The guy has a tremendous amount of ability.
The truck you saw still being worked on pit road is Jack Sprague. Now remember, he crashed a long time ago, many laps ago, and sustained a great deal of damage in that performance race cars Chevrolet. So they're continuing to work on it, hoping to get him back out. Again, Sprague has rejoined the race, the 29 of Keselowski, with now Kimmel in the cockpit. Frank Kimmel having replaced Keselowski early on. We're on board with Benson.
Hear that little whine?
Yeah.
That's a Jericho transmission whine.
I would never have known that. Ned would have known that, but I would not have known that.
I only knew it because Benny told me.
Story of the race has been this number 18 truck, I think. Johnny Benson, that's the Performance Friction Corporation, Hella Chevrolet. And he's been all over the tailgate of Mike Skinner's truck from the get-go. Note that there are 19 trucks still on the lead lap. They're all up on the outside of this 5/8 mile oval. That is Indianapolis Raceway Park, and somewhere toward the back of that bunch is Mike Bliss, and he's got to pass them all as we get ready for the fall of the green. Here we go. Good jump for Skinner. Bodine wants around Hornaday. The outside would be the tough way to do that, although Benson pulled that off earlier tonight. He's got to square it off the corner like the open wheel guys do, but can't make the move. Here comes Benson looking inside.
Benson is trying his best. He's up to the quarter panel or the tailgate.
I think he figures that now's his best shot if he's going to make an inside move while he still has those new tires on.
And meanwhile, right behind him, Jeff Bodine was on the outside on the 16 truck, didn't quite make the pass.
Wow. That first couple of laps, I'm sure you're wondering how it's gotten better with the work that they did at the halftime break, or do you worry about that as the laps unfold? Do you worry about that later in the segment?
I think you got to worry about it later in the segment. Right now, those tires are going to work for about 5 laps. And as Ned said, all these drivers trying to take advantage of those 5 laps of tires are going to be fantastic.
Am I not correct that those 5 laps are worth a little extra money here because we did not get the Gatorade money paid because of the yellow flag? They'll run 5 green ones, and then they'll pay the cash to the leader. And Skinner has led every lap thus far. So if Benson wants that cash, he needs to get up there and get around him in a hurry.
Oh, we see that smoke once again out of Benson's truck.
Must not be heat. Would be hot in 3 laps.
No, that's right.
Well, it's the mystery smoke. It's been there from the get-go, but it certainly does not seem to have slowed the assault of Benson. The gap is about 3 trucks now. I think Hornaday can cash, or the Skinner can cash the check. In fact, Hornaday has closed up a little bit on Benson.
Jeff Bodine still working on Hornaday. Jeff Bodine might have the fastest truck here. Yeah. He just hasn't been able to get around Hornaday, and that's Hornaday's job. He's got the position.
Walker Evans, indications that perhaps there is a trouble with the number 20 truck. The off-road racing legend crashed earlier today. Actually, I think crashed in qualifying. He's learned a lot about the oval racing wars here. We'll see if indeed there is something to the trouble for number 20. Dodge has put up a whole bunch of cash. They've joined Ford and Chevrolet as a contingency sponsor in this series, and I think the put up by Ford, Chevy, and now Dodge are one measure of just what a big deal this series is going to become.
Yes, and I think a lot of people are anxious for them to get deeper involved in and see more of these Dodge trucks out here. It's always good to have competition from various brands, and certainly with the efforts that have been put forth with the teams who have been running the Dodgers, there's a lot of potential there. Here's Bodine trying to make that move on the inside. Can he do it?
Oh, yeah, no problem. Didn't even touch him, did he?
He did that so easy. Is there something wrong with a 16 truck?
Or had Bodine perhaps been biding his time? We've been marveling at how good that truck appeared, and yet he wasn't able to pass anybody. Well, when he made the pass, it was like surgery. He saw the leaders taking off. Bodine said, I'd rather go up there and race.
Hey, maybe there's something wrong with Hornaday. Look here. See, Hornaday's getting passed again by Roger Combs and then a Setzer.
Four-time winner on the Tour. Hornaday has trouble posting down the backstretch. There goes Portgay by. Well, no, he's still under a bit of power, but certainly not at race speed. You'll see that truck on pit road. There's Lagasse next to come by.
I think he's lost his cylinder because he just isn't running down the straightaway like he was to begin the race. So I think that he's on 7 cylinders right now.
The point leader, Rudman, goes by on the outside. That's 2 of the top 4 trucks in the series. Neither of them having much of a night.
Toby Butler just went behind the wall.
A lot of action here. As we get back into the second segment, we'll take a quick break and come back with more from IRP. Rodney Combs leads the rather beat-up number 30 of Dennis Setzer, the top Dodge in the field. That is the race for 4th and 5th. Setzer is racing for some of that additional Dodge money that we talked about. Here's how it works. Win the race in a Dodge, you get 10 grand. Second is worth $5,000. Third, $2,500. That was effective immediately following the announcement last week. Chrysler now having joined Ford and Chevrolet, who have had those kind of support programs since the inauguration of this NASCAR SuperTruck Series by Craftsman. Meanwhile, it is a 3-truck breakaway for the lead. A combination, I think, of Hornaday's problem and Bodine's fast truck have put Bodine into 3rd, coming after Benson, and I continue to see a little smoke there, I believe, as Benson sits in the middle of the sandwich. Skinner is the leader. And this thing, I don't know that we've seen the last of Bodine. I got a feeling he may have something for both these cats.
Has had a fast truck all night long. And once again, we see Benson is smoking, but he's going while he's smoking.
Let's see if we can find out more about that smoke. Marty Reed.
Well, guys, we have talked to the crew, and they have said that they checked it during the midpoint break, and all it is some oil out of the breather in the overflow. And it happens in the corners, and it's nothing to worry about. They say it's okay.
Did you see him drive up on the outside of Skinner?
Yeah, and then he bumped Skinner, and Bodine bumped Benson, and they are going at it.
Second time he's done that, second time he's failed to pull it off, but Benson is sending lots of messages in the direction of the leader. Skinner won the $1,000 from Gatorade for leading at midway. He has led 95 of 95, as you can see. Read that in the paper, and you might think it was a snoozer. Watch it on ESPN. It's anything but that. Look at Bodine trying to bend that thing off of 4 and get it under Benson. Johnny's given us a great ride with that on-truck camera here tonight.
And right now, he doesn't even realize he has it on there. All he's thinking about is, how am I going to get by that guy? I've tried everything in the world. I've tried him high. I've tried him low.
Skinner's a lot like the guy that, well, actually his wife owns the truck, but you recognize those Dale Earnhardt colors. He's a tough cat to pass.
That's Richard Childress' truck. Earnhardt and Teresa on the 16 truck.
I constantly get that backwards, too. I'm so pleased that you're going to keep me straight. What's Bliss doing here? He has moved up some, but not anywhere near what he needs. He's now 16th. And that is from, I believe it was 19th after the crash that brought out the yellow flag.
There we see Bliss. That's Bob Strait in the Target Expedited truck right in front of him. Michael's Dockin in that yellow truck behind them.
That's a good run for Dockin. He's just getting the feel of this truck racing business. He can put her in the top 10 tonight.
Yes, it is.
There's Bliss working the bottom.
Trying to get by, and he does make it by. Meanwhile, he pulls up on the inside. Whoa! It's Roger Mears making a little contact with Straight. Meanwhile, let's go back up to the front.
Same traffic jam. Bodine fills the mirrors.
Here he comes.
The tailgate. He's got the bottom. Look out.
No, he's running up on traffic. Can't do it.
Kenny Allen in the 65 truck, the onset truck was there, blocking Bodine's progress. Not intentionally, he was just there.
Skinner got away a little bit through the traffic, pulled out maybe 6 truck lengths. Earnhardt to be watching this telecast. He'll come up to me tomorrow and say, mine's the red truck, dummy. That's an interesting rivalry with Childress owning one truck and Earnhardt owning another. And Earnhardt's truck having the tough luck here tonight. That 16 truck has not had a DNF. They've been very consistent, but tonight Hornaday has a problem as we watch Miller and Ruttman.
And Hornaday's a couple of laps down right now. And we see the Rodney Combs still up there in the 4th spot. 30 truck Setzer just cannot get by in that 77th. Gary St. Amant. He's had a great run tonight.
Ruttman and Miller 8th and 9th on the racetrack.
And remember, Miller started back in 21st place, so he's gradually worked his way on up through there.
Took a tap there from Scott Lagasse. Ruttman, of course, is your point leader.
3 abreast. 3 abreast, baby.
You can't even go around this track 2 abreast, fellas.
Don't tell those guys that.
Look at there.
They did it again, didn't they? With Terrific action is what IRP has come to be known for on ESPN tonight. Has certainly continued its reputation for that. We'll take a break and come back with more right after this. Back live at Indianapolis Raceway Park, a terrific 3 trucks scrapped for the lead in the action-packed 150. And this action-packed 150 is now 109 laps old. That means we're getting down toward decision time, and Bodine just keeps beating on the back of Benson and cannot find a way around. And that's been the story ever since Hornaday dropped the cylinder and fell back. Here's what it looks like from up top. They're chasing this guy, the black 3. Mike Skinner has led every lap of this race, working the traffic, and it's about time to put my 3 experts on the spot and start figuring out who we like among that top 3.
I think that Jeff Bodine, if he'd ever get up there, could race with, probably outrun all, if he could probably drive away from him, but can he pass him? I don't think so.
I like Skinner. You know why?
He's in front.
He's in front. That's right. That's exactly right.
He's been in front from the get-go. From the drop of the flag, Hornaday took a shot at him early. Hornaday has since dropped back with problems. And let's see. Let's go down to Marty. Pit report. Marty.
Well, guys, you were mentioning trouble. Turn 2.
Bodine hooked up with Benson and spun her into the wall. A second truck involved over there.
Michael Dockin was involved, the 64 truck.
He was behind Jeff, and I think he just spun, to keep from hitting him.
He was the lap truck, but Bodine was in the middle of that dogfight. He was running 3rd, and as he made the attempt on Benson, there was contact and he couldn't save it, and he got her on both ends. Let's take another look at it, guys, and see how it started.
Here we are down in turn 1. He and Benson are side by side. That's Benson, the 18. Jeff Bodine in the 7. And Jeff nails the gas, and the back end just comes around. And look at that left front smoking, sparking as he slams on the brakes, and there we see Dockin going by.
Yeah, he did hit Jeff a little bit and spun him on around, and that caused Dockin to spin as well. Here it is again. You can see Jeff down on the inside, and as Benny said, when he got on the gas, the back end just broke loose with him, and around he went.
We got one more look at this, don't we? Because this is how it looked. Benson's on truck camera.
Here comes Jeff. He's leaning up against that tailgate. He nails the gas. Someplace right now we're going to nail the gas, and around he goes. What a great shot.
Isn't that pretty? Well, unless you're Bodine, of course.
Yeah, right. Wasn't very pretty for him.
And here comes the contact. Wham! Right there that beat up the front of the truck. And that's too bad because that was a good truck indeed. And he's hurt it perhaps terminally.
We see the water coming out of the front, too.
We will take a break and be back with more and be back without Bodine after this timeout. Back at Indianapolis Raceway Park, anticipating the green flag. Johnny Benson has one less thing to worry about. That's the truck behind him. He can focus on the truck ahead of him. The reason is Bodine dropping out, and he's with Marty Reed.
You know, I was just about ready to point out that in your 4 starts, you finished second twice. You were really tuned in. We're going green, and you're not in there.
We were trying to do it again. At the halftime, we made a little adjustment to the truck. Took a little wedge out, and the Exide Ford LA West Van conversion and Tanya Tucker's also. The truck was running really good. I was trying to get under Johnny into 1 and 2. I was quicker than he was, and I just got down too low on the loose stuff, and it got sideways. I couldn't save it.
Jeff Bodine, he's out of this one. He won't finish second this time.
Skinner got the great restart, opens up the biggest gap we've seen in a good while over Benson. And let's give a call to Rodney Combs, number 43, running in third, and Gary Santamont, who really hit the wall a ton last week at Heartland Park in an ASA car. Had to be cut out of the car. He's back here tonight, and he's looking at a top 5 finish. It's very impressive.
Running in 4th place right now. Got around Dennis Setzer just before the caution came out. Talking about Combs, this is only his 2nd truck race. He ran at Milwaukee, finished in 10th in that event. Having a great run here tonight, running in 3rd.
Good race car driver can adapt. The cars of the trucks behave similarly. Okay? Same chassis.
I think that they're very, very similar. Yes, the chassis is the same as the Winston Cup or Busch Grand National car. Just got that pickup body on there.
And the great opportunity for the drivers who come to the pickup truck series here, the NASCAR SuperTruck by Craftsman series, is the tremendous amount of exposure that it gets. So while it may be tough to crack a good BGN team and make your way that way,
tremendous battle. Go ahead. Tremendous battle here for 3rd. That's Combs in the blue truck, number 43. And then Santamont there in 77. Dennis Setzer right on his bumper. And then right behind Setzer is Scott Lagacy. He's want to get in on that action as well. And then the truck number 84, Joe Ruttman then, is right behind them. So good battle from 3rd.
And Walker Evans has spun off the 2nd corner. Well, he saved it. Wow, how did he do that?
Just a good driver.
He made some contact as he came off the corner with the outside retaining wall, and meanwhile these guys are trying to wreck. I mean, they're trying their absolute best to wreck.
Walker came as close to wrecking as you can without doing it. I think he just imagined the cactus and figured out how he could dodge it. I don't know what these 5 guys are going to try to dodge. This is wild. And Ruttman's the big winner of this. He's been back there flopping around in 11th or 12th, and now he's finally got something going toward the front. He's the point leader. He's 7th on the racetrack, trying to figure out what he's going to do with this mob scene.
He's moved up on the racetrack. He's running a little bit higher than most of these other trucks and seems to be getting a really good grip as he comes off the corner, especially turn 4. There he's not too high, but turn 4 he seems to be higher than the other truck. Butch Miller's joined in the fight.
Miller's come with him, hasn't he?
Yes, he has.
You don't see it from the inside of the racetrack, but from the outside, that 3rd truck in line is all beat to pieces on the right front. Looks like a typical short tracker. Aerodynamics don't count for a whole lot at Indianapolis Raceway Park. You got to get in there, root and gouge.
Uh-oh, here goes Setzer on the inside. Trying to get by Santamont. Now he's going to dive to the inside again. And there comes Butch Miller on the inside of Joe Ruttman.
What a terrific battle we are watching. Miller working for the moment. But the momentum belongs to Ruttman. He hangs on top. Butch will run him to death down there if he can.
Yeah, he likes to that inside. He likes playing racetrack.
It's tough to make it work down there at IRP. And the groove, as we talked about earlier, perhaps moving up as the evening wears on, and Butch just can't make it work. Here's Santamont looking around the outside as Coombs takes the low line off of 4.
I think Rodney might be holding them up just a little bit. He's doing a great job of holding his groove and position. Here's Setzer trying down on the inside once again, but can't make the move. The 77 truck.
Let's get out of Marty Reed.
Guys, you were talking about Gary St. Amant, and the Columbus, Ohio resident. He credits the safety padding that they built in to protect his legs for him being able to be here. He is extremely sore tonight. He said up under his armpits, his kneecaps are swollen, his ankle on the left foot is swollen because it got rammed into the clutch. But the extra padding that they put into that race car in that serious crash, and he has that same padding right now in his Super Truck, and he's doing a heck of a job.
He is currently 5th. You're watching 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th, all hooked up in a scuffle. Skinner is the leader and stretching it a bit. We'll come back with more.
coverage of the NASCAR SuperTrucks has been brought to you by Goodyear, #1 in tires. And by Pep Boys. For quality parts, accessories, and service, come to Pep Boys, America's Automotive Supercenter. Has been brought to you means it's almost over. 18 laps remain. Side by side, Ruttman and Miller, two of the contenders for the championship, ranked first and third respectively, continue to run in 7th and 8th spot at the tail end of a terrific battle that goes all the way up to the third place driver, Rodney Combs. We've got some new faces at the front of the Super Truck Series lineup here this evening, and there they are. Combs under great pressure from St. Amant.
I'll tell you what, Gary St. Amant was on the outside. There we see, as we watch the car, there goes Skinner, our leader.
Big gap now. Benson was all over his tailgate, but just when it matters, we see Skinner begin to pull away. There's Benson, biggest lead he's had, I guess, the whole race.
We'll try to keep this camera so we can show you some of the trucks that are still running as they go by. Maybe your favorite truck driver is our second place. There's their battle. We're up to 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, and
Yeah, Rick Corelli has joined that group up there now in 9th place. Mike Bliss has moved up to 10th. There are 14 trucks on the lead lap.
For Bliss, of course, that's a comeback from a crash. He's moved as high as 5th.
Nemechek is the 11th place driver. He spun earlier, but he's still back in the lead. Bob Strait is running in 12th place. Steve Portingay in 13th. And the 15 truck,
Jim Nooter on the way running in.
yeah, he's running in the 14th position. Those are the trucks that are on the lead lap.
And you know what impresses me about this deal? The guy running second, Benson, in his 3rd race. 3rd place driver, Combs. It's his 2nd race in this division. St. Amant running 4th, never been in one of these trucks before. 5th place driver, number 30, Dennis Setzer, in his 3rd race. There's a lot of rising talent here that we're going to see a lot of in the second half of the series.
And Butch, who's that smoking then?
I don't know. You start to say Butch Miller, he's coming up through the pack. I don't think he's smoking. He's made the move on the inside. We saw him pass Ruttman, and now he has passed Scott Legacy down on the inside. So Miller has moved up to the 6th position.
He's put it to work. There you see him chasing Setzer down the backstretch. And for Butch Miller, see, in this situation with the point deal, Skinner back in 2nd spot, but only 3 points out. Skinner wins the race. Skinner takes the point lead. Miller and Ruttman are desperate for every truck they can pass on the racetrack because they want to get, remember, that's only 38 points from 1st to 4th in the series. And the 4th place guy, Hornaday, has trouble. He's out there limping around with a lame truck. So these guys have got to pass people in the, what is it now, 12 or so laps that remain.
Yeah, we see Hornaday back in 21st position now, just as you say, limping around, just trying to finish.
And we see that Rodney Combs has been able to drive away a little bit from Gary St. Amant.
Leaders in traffic on the back chute. There he is.
He's the 2nd car from the right side of your screen, the dark colored car. That's Mike Skinner. Here he comes off the corner, goes by Walker Evans.
Boy, he's good at this. 9 poles, 5 wins. Another dominant performance here this evening, having led every lap today.
Boy, Dennis Setzer is all over St. Amant. There he almost had him passed. There he is. Was up beside of him going into turn 1, but couldn't make the pass.
$2,500 from Dodge. If he can get to 3rd, he better be looking for Miller because Butch is coming on the bottom.
There he goes. Butch Miller pulls alongside of Setzer. He may have him on the inside. He does have him.
He's got him.
I'm so happy to see Butch do that because we've talked about it all night. And there he is demonstrated. Very spectacular.
Oh, crash. Big crash right in front of this group of trucks that we're watching. And right in front of leader Skinner. Yeah.
Portingay is the 83, all beat up there in the smoke. They can't see a whole lot better on the racetrack than you can at home. Skinner got through that by the skin of his teeth. But there are some beat-up trucks out there, including Brevac, who got into it big time. That's him sparking up on the outside. There's Portingay. Looks like he got the worst of it. More smoke than damage. I looked up and thought there must be 27 trucks involved in that small smoke down
Looked
there.
that way. Man, oh man, was there a lot of smoke.
And it happened right in front of the leader and all that other pack of trucks that we were watching doing all that dicing around. They were coming up on it.
And he wrinkled up his sponsor, Coffee Critic.
Bent the coffee pot tonight big time. Let's see how Skinner.
40 gauge just comes off the corner, exactly like Jeff Bodine, nail the gas, and he just nails the gas and tries to make the thing do a 360, but it does, and goes up and bangs the wall.
I'm thinking Skinner got touched in the back. He got to the brakes, and I think he may have gotten touched from behind. Doubt that would be significant with 8 laps to go, but one never knows. Peter Gammons, do bear with us. Baseball tonight, fans. Yes, it's coming. Peter's a patient fellow, and I'm sure is watching the race anyway. Let's take another look at this and see if we can figure out whether Skinner got tapped here, right? Right in the middle of all that smoke.
If he did, it was by Bill Sedgwick, the 75 truck.
It would not have been much of a hit.
No, I don't think it was very hard.
He's got the gloves off. Hood's up. There's the damage. I suspect that would not cause him to pull into the pits and say, guys,
and I think
paint it before we finish.
Yeah, I think that damage came from when the Johnny Benson truck was on the outside of him back earlier on, and when they made contact coming off the corner. So
I'll bet you're exactly right, because Sedgwick was dead behind him when he got to the brakes. So for Skinner, it's going to be a little short sprint to what may be a pretty easy victory here, but Benson will get one more shot at him, won't he? You'll see it when we come back. I hate it. I hate it when the argument ends just as you come back and you don't get to see how emotional this business is. A little discussion over track position here. Oh, just for you folks at home.
They started again.
A replay. My truck was ahead of his truck. No, your truck is behind his truck. 5 laps to go when we get the green. And for Skinner, well, he's seen a bunch of Benson in his mirror tonight. I don't know, guys. It doesn't look to me, given that last green flag run, that Johnny's got the stuff, but I would certainly throw it open to a second opinion.
That's the way it appeared to me, because Skinner had pulled away to a pretty good lead.
I concur. There we see Chip Warren telling the Rick Corelli guys, look, you go behind the 24. I just told those guys, you go in front of 6, now get back behind that 24.
It couldn't convince the official, and obviously hadn't convinced Legacy either. 5 to go. We go green. We got a lot more SuperTruck on ESPN. August 19th, we go to Flemington, New Jersey, September 7th. Richmond, Virginia, September 23rd, Martinsville, and September 30th, North Wilkes with the Winston Cup cars.
It's North Wilkesboro. You see that we're
You don't call it North Wilkes for short in North Carolina?
No. Subway 100, Spears Manufacturing, lots of truck racing.
All right, this is it. We're going green. Let's see if Benson can pull it off. It would be the upset of the year in NASCAR SuperTrucks by Craftsman competition. There's the green. There's the jump. Skinner gets to the pedal. A couple of 3 or 4 or 5 truck lengths quicker. The race may be for second because Combs is ready to go after Benson. St. Amant is all over him, and Butch Miller's up to 5th. Skinner is gone, checked out immediately on the bottom of the green. Inside 5 to go. But look at that dogfight from second on back with the championship point lead hanging in the balance.
Here comes Butch Miller trying to get on the inside of St. Amant. Meanwhile, there's Rodney Combs trying to take over second place.
That onboard camera's been in the right spot all night long. You've seen some great stuff.
And look at St. Amant going on the outside of Rodney Combs.
He made it on the outside.
He should be able to pull off this pass. Let's see.
Rodney's trying to get by Benson.
And Rodney, almost lost it. The back end got out from under him. He was able to save him, but the train's going to go by on the outside if he isn't careful.
No place to get in line because Butch Miller's right there trying to grab that spot. This is wild. It's for the Bucks because we're down to 3 to go.
This is an unusual situation. Normally, if you're on the inside, the train goes. If you're on the outside, the train goes by on the inside. It's the exact opposite here. White flag.
Look at him bumping and beating back there in the pack. St. Amant coming up on the inside of Benson, trying to make the move for second spot. The leader, Skinner, is gone. The battle is for second, back through about 9th position, and it is a melee.
Wow!
Spins right in front of him, and everybody missed him. And so the dash to the checkered.
And they spin and wreck up there again.
Wrecked up at 3 and 4. Skinner takes the checkered flag. St. Amant wrecking down the back stretch, and 2 or 3 more of them tangled up in turn numbers. But before we got one on fire up there.
Butch Miller, that's Butch Miller's Rebecca's truck that's on fire up there in the corner.
Wow, what a finish. Skinner has won it, and that's about 1/10 of the story. Here comes number 30 by. We'll have to get the finish position sorted out when this is over. He may have fallen as far as 6th for Dennis Setzer.
Yeah, maybe a little farther back than that.
Oh, yeah, he would have been well back from that. Yeah.
All right, let's watch.
This will be St. Amant.
St. Amant makes contact with Benson. He spins.
Now that's coming off of 2. That's down the backstretch.
That's right.
Then the big one happens going into turn 3.
I don't know what he hit there, but it was...
he knocked out the light.
Got that light pole, didn't he?
He hit the light pole.
Everybody's mad, I guarantee you that. Miller giving somebody an earful there. There's the darkened light. A 3.5 second gap from the winner Skinner back to the 2nd place truck, Johnny Benson Jr. Corelli may have finished 3rd.
Watch
Let's take
this.
another look.
There we see Corelli on the inside as St. Amant comes down and into this. Look at that.
Wow.
The Jersey barrier and then the light pole. He had to move a ton of concrete back there before the lights went out in Indianapolis. Benson is 2nd as he takes it home. A terrific run for this youngster. We are showing unofficially that Corelli could have gotten all the way
to 3rd place.
3rd place,
wow.
Meaning that he threaded his way through that melee most effectively, and that Rodney Combs was 4th, and that Scott Lagasse finished 5th in a wild finish. Baseball tonight coming up next. Butch Miller's going to go talk to somebody. He did not get to the checkered flag because of the wreck in turn 3 and 4 on the final lap that ended with his truck in flames. The 3rd-ranked driver in the series didn't make it back to the wire. Skinner will retake the point lead by virtue of his victory here this evening from Ruttman, who also had a tough time of it here this evening. Did not go with Miller to the front and ended up back at the tail end of the top 10. He finished 8th. Let's go to Marty Reed.
I didn't think we were going to get to do this because we're running long. Congratulations. It's another victory in the column.
Tell you, this GM Goodwrench Service Chevrolet ran awfully well today. I got a really good crew, I'll tell you. These guys, we came and tested here, and we ran good in the hot part, and we ran terrible when it got toward the end of our long run when it was race time. And we went out today. We was tight all day, and 4 of us went and had our normal little powwow, and we decided to make some changes, and darn thing sat on the pole with only 1 lap. I like to wreck it 2nd lap, and she sat on the pole and led them all. I don't guess we can beat that. Thank you much.
Thank you, Mike. Great show. Let's go back up top.
Win the pole, lead every lap. That's a pretty good night at the office. Everybody behind him had a wild night. Benson comes home, the runner-up here this evening. The Indiana Festival of Speed continues. 2nd day qualifying tomorrow, live on ESPN, 3 o'clock Eastern Time, noon out on the left-hand coast. Speed Week tomorrow night, 8:30 from right here at Indianapolis Raceway Park. And that, of course, will be followed by the Busch Grand National Cars, the Kroger 200 at 9 Eastern Time. Benson will be back with Little and the rest. Pre-race special for the Brickyard coming up live at noon on Saturday. Skinner has won it thanks to Marty Reed down in the pits. Baseball tonight coming up next with Peter Gammons. Thank you for your patience. Thank you very much, Ned Jarrett and Benny Parsons. Sure has been fun to share the booth with you. I'm Dave Despain. That's it on a wild night at Indianapolis Raceway Park.